Alright, so I'm going to record the beginning at the end, and we'll see how that works. But the general idea here is to create some Minecraft videos, kind of record what I've been doing, see how things work out, and just kind of go from there. But this will be a little bit rambling, more than likely. I did discover halfway through that my ambient sound volume was a little high along with my weather, so there are a couple spots where it's a little hard to hear until I realized that and changed it so the rain wasn't quite so irritating. But we'll see how it goes, and then we'll get to work on the project we're working on, which happens to be a big glass pyramid. So we'll see what happens and move on from there. Well, I guess this is as good a place to start as any. For the most part, the idea here is to create a glass pyramid centered on the middle of that structure up there, which is gold farms, iron farm, and where is it? That right there is a single mob farm, just to give some place to move after using it as a temporary base for a while to move away from the gold portals. Eventually the pyramid will be completed, the floor will be leveled, and a wall will be added. But more glass is needed until then, so we will have to finish that. So overall, not much has changed, not much of an update. Just currently gathering up more of the glass as the furnace is slowly created, and apparently putting it down where I don't mean to. But pretty simple setup, just your standard furnaces, but hopefully it will get us enough glass to complete the pyramid and move on from there. Looking at the walls, I'm thinking possibly a polished diorite wall underneath the first layer of glass, maybe underneath the cobblestone ring, but that cobblestone will get removed towards the end. The only drawback would be that each of these walls is about 65 blocks long, so that'd be a significant amount of diorite that would be needed to do it. The floor plan, I'm hoping for some type of modular room construction. Squares, rectangles, not entirely sure yet if it'll even work, but the idea would be that if something requires more than a single module, you just join two modules together and create it. So a sugarcane farm might take up 2 modules, where a storage room might take up 4, 8, somewhere around those lines. But I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work out. It's been more of one of those, I got tired of living up there, wanted to live down here, and wanted something underneath it, so we start by using TNT to blast a really big hole in the ground, and then start digging. But hasn't really been a plan for this one yet. It's more of a just see what happens. I'm not sure if it's going to end up looking pretty, if it'll be function over form, or how we're going to do it, but hopefully it'll work out. Need to go up and check on the gunpowder input and see if I have enough to make some more TNT. This is one of those structures that to me shows me that I really have no aesthetic talent. Basically building everything out of cobblestone because that was what was there at the beginning. The server's been active since 1.8 was released, but this was an immediate construction, so there really wasn't anything available at the time, so we went with straight cobblestone. Not much of a way of gunpowder. Gold's not doing so bad. Iron's filling in okay. The setup of the farm is fairly simple. Rows of nether portals in 4 different groups. And now that I think about it, that was not there before. I did not do that. I wonder who completed the farm for me. I'll have to check on that and find out. Can't believe how many times I've been up and down here and haven't even noticed that that was complete. That would give us 4 cells, and I want to say 8 portals per cell? Yeah, 8 portals per cell. So we got about 32 portals, and they're maximum size portals. They produce a decent amount of pigment. The mob grinder works better when you're the only one online. We're up high enough that most of the caves underneath us are unloaded, but the mob count gets a little strange for the other people online. If you're the only one on and you just log in, they flow fairly nicely. Iron golems, about 1 every 6 minutes. There are 8 individual cells for that, so they work out pretty good. They're pretty good flow of iron, more than enough to fuel my cheapness and iron armor and iron shovels and swords Too cheap to spend it on diamonds since I tend to break them fairly quickly. I don't really have a good source of experience yet. Alright, I'm going to head back down and see how much glass I've got, see if I can continue moving on. Maybe try and decide how I want to build the wall. Oh, little furnaces are working well. Building up some more glass. Made a little cheat tunnel to get back to the pyramid construction site so I didn't have to constantly keep running overland. But we'll see how it works out. I'm not really sure it'll stay. It'll more than likely get filled in as soon as the structure's done in favor of something a little more, I don't know, not junky looking, I guess. But overall, the pyramid's moving fairly well. It's not going up as quick as I'd like, but with only 4 furnaces, there's only so much glass you're going to get to begin with. That and the rain and creeper swarm doesn't really help either. And we're back at the top. Let's see if we can find the spot where I left off. Don't remember finishing the top row, but I guess I did, so on to the next row. On the plus side, building a pyramid gets smaller as you go, which makes it a little bit easier. But run a few more rows and then see how much glass we've got left. It's always kind of interesting to realize that something you've built in Minecraft is big enough to blot out the sun. It's kind of one of those things you look at and you go, why is it so dark? And then you realize, oh, that's right, I built that thing. It's an odd little random thought. Still debating on what I want to do for the pyramid. I'm thinking some type of kind of a spine running down each of the corners, capping off the top of the pyramid. Lava's kind of overdone, but I'm thinking maybe run lava down that spine, kind of light the area up a little bit, give it at least something to break up the white. But we'll have to see how it looks in the end when it's actually completed. It could look interesting, could be a complete waste, but on the plus side, it's diorite and lava. Or, yeah, diorite and lava. You can get rid of those pretty fast, so I'll have to see how it goes. Working in the dark currently, hoping nothing sneaks up behind me and blows up the glass that I've been placing for the last hour. But beyond that, just another day in Minecraft. Well, did a short little stint of AFK for a snack while sitting down here in my furnace room. Came out with some glass. Hopefully this will allow us to make a little bit of a dent in what we're working on here and maybe get it a little closer to being done. As soon as we can get it done, get the walls sealed in, I can start working on the floor without feeling like things are going to be falling on my head, which is what happens right now. They appear off in the darkened areas off to the sides and they decide to come say hello, and it doesn't really work out that well when you're trying to dig a precision hole in Minecraft, but what are you going to do? It works out eventually. So lay a few more layers and see where we're at after that. Well, used up the batch of glass that time, made a few more layers, maybe 5 or 6 layers got added, although this one's not quite complete yet. Going to take a little side jaunt here to get rid of some of my dirt since Dracolich there is working on an island and needs dirt, and I happen to have a little bit extra from the excavation of the hole, and I figure rather than throwing it away, might as well give it to somebody who can use it. And that's a little dark. See if maybe we can make use of some of this stuff. Ooh, more coal. Can always use that. Although maybe not right now. Maybe I shouldn't carry that until I actually have room for it. Made quite the mess when digging this area out. The TNT was fun. It was a little faster. If I'd had a beacon and efficiency 5, it probably would have gone significantly faster than that, but what are you going to do? Didn't have either of those, and I don't feel like enchanting up an efficiency 5. We do have a villager trading center here on the server, but the closest we can get is efficiency 3s, and even with combining them, it still takes a decent amount of experience without a reliable experience farm yet, so not really an option. Going to run through our little nether tunnel system here and see if I can get as close as possible to the island he's working on without having to run on the overworld any more than I really have to. Got some fairly industrious people on this server that have built us a nice little tunnel network. Weaves all over the place, but it gets you where you're going and helps prevent the gas from blowing you up. And now that I think about it, I need to change the weather sound, which is apparently very loud. And let's take a look what else we want to mess with. Let's remove some of the ambient as well, since that's kind of annoying. Having the sound of cooking bacon around you all the time. When you're in the nether, it gets a little irritating. And almost the central hub. And he said he is west of our spawn area. And as you can see here, like I was saying, industrious and much better at decorating than I am. I think that was actually one of the first structures that went up when we were looking over the new blocks. Now let's see, west. Which way is west? That way. Fortunately, he doesn't have another portal yet, so I'm going to do some exploring, see if I can figure out where he's hiding, and then we'll take a look from there. Oh, after a few hundred blocks of swimming in the wrong direction, I'm caught up to where I need to be in. Wow, that's a hole. This would be the site of the volcanic island he's working on. Something that should be an interesting idea. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out once I figure out where to dump all the dirt. Let's take a look and see what he's doing. Digging a hole. Yeah. That kind of fits for the expectations. Alright, I'm going to have a little bit of a conversation and then I'm going to run back, so I will be back then. Okay, back to our build site, which is right there. Gonna pick up a little more sand from the upper levels here in my little temporary layer and head back down and feed the furnaces a little bit more. Use my super secret entrance into the upper area. And see, temporary layer. Take a door. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Coal blocks, don't need to get those. Don't have enough lava to be useful. Have a ton more furnaces though. What are you doing in there? Do a little bit of repairing here. Ooh, wow, yeah, definitely. Now, because these are unenchanted and we don't really care, we're just going to combine them. It's not like I'm hurting for iron right now, so there. Oops. Gold. Oh, ouch. Oh, that's right. These are combined from individual feather falling ones and a couple unbreakings of a different level. So with our lovely 1.8 changes, that makes those really expensive to repair. So maybe we'll just buy new ones instead. Let's back on before I fall off and kill myself. Not that I really think those are going to save me. Wait a minute. head down to the bottom, refuel our furnaces, put some more. I'm really having a heck of a time with that sand. Put some more sand in them, get the fuel in there, and then let them run, and maybe work on this a little later. It's getting kind of late now, so probably pick this up later and just call this the first one and see what happens.